and welcome to New Jersey Politics with Laura Jones. I am Laura Jones, and we are so glad to have you here. Today, we are talking about Governor Phil Murphy's proposed 2025 budget and his proposal to fund New Jersey transit with a new business tax. Standing by is former New Jersey legislator and a member of the New Jersey Turnpike Authority, John Wisniewski. First, though, Michele Siekerka, president and CEO of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, is here to weigh in on the governor's proposal. Michele, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, Laura.
Well, to say the business community is concerned about this new tax is probably an understatement. I'll let you react.
Yeah, an understatement for sure. Look, this is a promise broken, and this is significant in that New Jersey at 11.5% is an outlier on corporate business tax. We were for 4 years while the surtax was in place. Going down to 9% only made us the fourth most expensive in the country, but at least it was movement in the right direction, right? Now, we heard Governor Murphy, as soon as just a few weeks before he presented the budget, say that when it came to the sunset of the CBT, we needed to be cold-blooded about sunsetting the CBT because of our economic development strategy. I need to understand what happened in 2 weeks that caused an about face and the imposition of a 20% plus tax on New Jersey business.
Right. Do you have any answers so far? What are you hearing?
No, we don't have any answers. As everyone always likes to say, everything is on the table. But the reality is, every time that we need something in New Jersey, we go back to business and we put more and more on the back of business. This is a competitiveness issue. Exactly while we are increasing our corporate business tax once again, our neighbor to the west, who we vie with on any given day to keep jobs in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, is on a multi-year plan to take their CBT down to below 5%, while at the same time they are funding their mass transportation on a totally separate endeavor. Nothing to do with a tax on business.
Can you talk a little bit about how the governor the way he phrased it or the way he put it out there, pitched it is, well, it's just the businesses making over $10 million. They're fine. But can you talk about the reality of this transit fee proposal and how it could affect the overall business climate in New Jersey?
Absolutely. The reality is it has an impact, first of all, on our largest employers that employ tens, if not hundreds of thousands of jobs across the state of New Jersey. These are job creators. Let's not take advantage of that rich asset that we have in these large companies, especially when we have outmigrated businesses for way too long here in the state of New Jersey. That type of an increase in that cost on someone's bottom line is going to flow downstream. No doubt about it. Anytime you have a new expense, you have to find a way to offset that. That means it's going to go down to supply chain, which is small and mid-sized business, as well as consumers of the products and services that are delivered by those companies. It takes money out of these companies' opportunity in order to invest in their workforce and in their facilities and to grow more jobs and expand here in the state of New Jersey.
Can you talk a little bit about how NJBIA, how do you strike that balance, right? Because businesses in the state of New Jersey, a lot of their workers depend on New Jersey Transit for a good functioning New Jersey Transit to get to and from work. So how do you strike that balance? Because investment into New Jersey Transit is key to keeping so many businesses afloat, but without it burdening businesses with additional costs.
Sure. I think there's a few pieces to that. First of all, we need to understand exactly how and what amount NJ Transit needs to be funded for. There was supposed to be an analysis of their expenses that hasn't taken place yet. They've received federal funding. There's future federal funding that may be available to New Jersey Transit, right? And New Jersey Transit doesn't even need this income until next fiscal year. So here we are imposing a new tax on New Jersey business, retroactive to January 1, I might say, that's going to sit in surplus for up to about 18 months. That doesn't make sense. Again, that's money not being reinvested in the workforce and in the companies. Now let's talk about whether there's a nexus between business and New Jersey Transit. Sure, to some regard, there may be businesses all across the state where people are taking the train. But let's talk about those who are paying this extra tax now. We know in South Jersey, as our colleagues at the Chamber of Commerce of Southern New Jersey noted, They don't have rail system down there to the companies impacted. Well, let me tell you, I heard about a few of the companies also who are impacted in Central and North Jersey. They don't have rail to their facilities either, nor do they have bus service. So we need to think about the fact that these businesses are really being called upon to support what is the main artery of the Northeast Corridor, which are employees going into New York City. Those are folks who aren't even working here in the state of New Jersey, but in fact are going over into New York.
Yeah, one of the things following the governor's budget address, I spoke with Tom Bracken, who heads up the New Jersey State Chamber of Commerce, and he was absolutely furious. He was saying, the thing about the business community is we feel like we take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, and we just aren't thought about when it comes to the legislature, that businesses are the ones who ultimately suffer.
I agree wholeheartedly. Every time there is an issue that has to do with funding, we immediately say, let's go to the business community. Oh, they have the money. Oh, they should pay their fair share. Let's review. At 9%, we're still the 4th most expensive corporate business tax in the nation. Let's also review. Highest property taxes in the nation. New Jersey businesses pay almost 50% of the property taxes in the state of New Jersey. Let's talk about individual income tax for those who live here in the state of New Jersey. And how about all the costs and expenses that fall to the bottom line because of regulatory impact here in the state of New Jersey? Look, Governor Murphy has recognized and acknowledged publicly that this is an expensive state within which to do business. I have to tell you, our businesses get phone calls every day from other states who are pitching them to come and do business in their state. We need to be concerned about growing jobs here in the state of New Jersey, not putting at risk those valuable assets and inviting them to consider growing somewhere else.
Well, that was going to be my next question, is what are you hearing from your members, those people who you represent, about the reality of, are they, if there's yet another tax imposed on them, how realistic is it that they may say, you know what, we will go across the river over to Pennsylvania, where it's less expensive? How realistic is that?
It's realistic every day. Again, this is an expensive state within which to do business. Here we were trying to drive down the cost of doing business by at least getting that tax down to 9%, with a strategy to continue to drive it down even more. Look, we've studied this. We know that states that drive down corporate business tax reap economic stimulus in so many other ways that it makes up for it. We've been trying to make that case with good research and data, and we know it to be the case. So yes, we are concerned. Some companies can't just get up and leave because of the nature of their facility or what they do, but guess what? They will not grow here. And being status quo is just as bad as it is to lose a company. We've seen companies not grow here. We have farmers who have R&D here who have not continued to grow manufacturing here. They've grown their manufacturing outside the state of New Jersey. We have less Fortune 500s in the state of New Jersey today than we did less than 10 years ago. These are important issues, and we need to make and pay clear attention to the fact that these businesses either will move or will not grow.
I mean, that big bridge when you come into Trenton makes the world takes, and that's becoming more and more difficult for businesses. Do you find that New Jersey Business and Industry Association, not only are you advocating for your members, but do you feel the onus is being put upon the business community to come up with alternative plans to address the issues of New Jersey Transit? Is that something that you all are grappling with?
We'd love to have a seat at the table to talk about what other opportunities are there, right? What oftentimes happens is the business community is the subject of policy without having been at the table to talk about what the economic impact or unintended consequences of policy will be. We call time and time again to be part of studies, part of task forces. At NJBIA, we conduct independent research every single day. We never advocate on an issue without data and research behind us. Take advantage of us on all that data and research and say, come on, BIA, come sit at the table and brainstorm with us.
Why do you think that isn't happening right now?
Well, oftentimes I think that our policymakers think they have the answers. And unfortunately, there's political pressures that are put to bear. I think you've heard since the fall, we had a lot of progressive groups out there pounding on the governor and the legislature. Why are you letting the surcharge go away? We could use that money. We could, without any consideration to what that means about regional and national competitiveness. Laura, I have to tell you, I'm just going to take an example of manufacturers here in the state of New Jersey because they're deep in our DNA at NJBIA. They are bidding in on on requests every single day, right? They start with a premium on their products in order to deliver a service so they can bid in on RFP nationally. You put something like this on them, they have no more space in order to absorb any more premium. They're not going to be able to be competitive and bid in on projects across the country.
Do you feel that you have any lawmakers who are listening? I mean, there are Democrats have control of the Senate, the Assembly, governor's office, and there are Republicans who are upset about it. How much more noise do you have to make? Because I know NJBIA this isn't a Republican or a Democratic issue. It's a business issue across the state of New Jersey. So how do you find your advocates who will help you get that seat at the table?
So we are boots on the ground each and every day in the legislative districts of our legislators all across the state of New Jersey. Our amazing government affairs team is meeting with them as we speak. And so we're always sitting down and having very, real discussions with our policymakers, bringing that data I mentioned earlier. But you will see over the next coming weeks, we're going to have a very aggressive campaign on this issue. We will be at the budget hearings and we will be very strict on this. Look, this issue is a gate for this budget. We can't support anything else in this budget if we don't get over this and get through this first gate.
Yeah. And finally, how does NJBIA plan on communicating with your own members and stakeholders who are, hearing this, they're reading about it, they're trying to dissect again the devils in the details when it comes to a budget address. But, when you talk about Governor Murphy's transit fee, how are you communicating with them, giving them some perspective and also gathering their feedback so that that can be passed along to the policymakers?
Always getting our message out. So we have daily communications with our members through our New Jersey Business Today. We have directed correspondence with our members. We have policy meetings. We have task force. We lead coalitions. We lead collaboration. We are always at the center of the table, bringing people together to be the best problem solvers that we can be. And this is a case that we'll have our boots on the ground out there with grassroots, really rallying the troops about why this is really bad policy for New Jersey.
Michelle, one of the things that, and I've already said it and I'll say it again, the devil is in the details, and there's also a proposed tax on trucks at warehouses in this budget. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we've been fondly referring to this as bucket truck. And basically the idea is to impose a $1 tax on trucks coming to warehouses. And let me just say, this is not a tax on warehouses. This will be a tax on every single product that goes into a box here in the state of New Jersey. It will be a consumer tax at the end.
Right, and we have so many, 10,000 manufacturers. You think about Amazon being the big one, but there are 10,000 manufacturers in New Jersey this could affect.
So, and that's exactly, we talk about unintended consequences. Well, someone may say, let's take advantage of Amazon. They're so big here in the state of New Jersey. This goes far beyond to the 10,000 manufacturers who are putting products in boxes each and every day that leave their warehouses and leave the state of New Jersey to travel across the country.
Michele Siekerka, New Jersey Business and Industry Association, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Always a pleasure.
Laura, thanks so much. You have a great day.
You too. John Wisniewski served in the New Jersey State Assembly from 1996 to 2018. He was also a Democratic Party candidate for governor. He joins me now to talk a little bit more about the governor's budget address and what so many other people in the business community are talking about, and that is the corporate business transit tax. John Wisniewski, it's so good to see you.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, during your time in Trenton, you chaired the Assembly Transportation Committee, so you know all too well when it comes to New Jersey transit what the problems are. And Governor Murphy said, I got a plan, and it's not going to cost the taxpayers, it's going to cost businesses, and it's fueling quite the debate. So let's get your take on it.
Well, number one, New Jersey Transit needs money. Let's set aside for a moment who pays. New Jersey Transit needs money in an amount that's greater than you could ever possibly raise fares on the people who use it. They would flee to their own private cars. And so the debate has to be, from where in the state budget does this money come from? And I think a thoughtful choice is to put it on the corporate business tax.
Yeah. Well, the governor had said, I'm not going to raise the corporate business tax, and he broke that promise. I remember reading, I believe it was Tom Moran did an editorial saying, well, this is a good thing because it isn't being passed down to the taxpayers. We are not seeing the toll hikes, but it is going to the biggest businesses in the state of New Jersey. So what did you think about that?
Well, number one, it is a good thing, but I think that not unlike the first President Bush, who made the promise, read my lips, no new taxes, Governor Murphy should never have made the promise that he wasn't going to raise the corporate business tax. It's just a foolish thing for any chief executive to say about a possible source of revenue for a problem that he knew then, and we also know now, that New Jersey Transit needs the money. In terms of who pays, let's be honest. While it's not directly assessed on any one individual group of taxpayers, it's assessed on corporations. Ultimately, those corporations will increase costs for their customers in some level to offset the money they're going to have to pay out. And so it affects everybody. But the question that doesn't get addressed is, this is good for the state. The people of the state of New Jersey benefit. Corporations, the ones that are complaining, benefit from a robust New Jersey transit system.
Well, that was kind of leading me to my next question, to my next point is there are some pros to this legislation that this corporate transit fee could benefit New Jersey Transit's funding and operational improvement. So can you talk us a little bit about what's going on? I mean, if you ride New Jersey Transit, you know, not everybody does, but you know, there are a lot of issues with New Jersey Transit that were exacerbated, especially over the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, the problems with New Jersey Transit obviously were not helped by COVID. However, those problems go back several administrations in which governor after governor decided to either not raise fares or not find a dedicated funding source. And New Jersey Transit has suffered a death by 1,000 cuts because if you ride it, you know that there are things that need to be repaired, need to be upgraded. If you're waiting for a train and you need to be at an important meeting, say in Manhattan, you know you're taking a risk as to whether or not you'll get there on time. So this is important. It's important for the business community too, because when you talk to any commuter in New Jersey, especially those who have to drive their car from central New Jersey to Morristown or from central New Jersey into New York City, traffic is a problem that everybody faces. The one way you solve that traffic problem isn't by building wider roads, it's by investing in mass transit, and that's what this does.
Right. Well, and you know, in New York City now they have the congestion fee, right? People are just, they're spending almost as much as it's not worth it to go into their jobs, especially, you know, people got used to working from home. Now that they've got to go back in, they are spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars each month just to get their car, you know, on the toll roads and into New York City. So this proposed tax that he talks about, the money that it takes to address some of these issues to make New Jersey Transit more reliable and to pay for some of the upgrades that they need, you're taxing the companies that are making over $10 million. Right. Is the governor's proposal actually going to address some of these financial challenges faced by New Jersey Transit?
Well, there's a lot of maybes in answering that question. It certainly requires, I would say, that this money needs to be constitutionally dedicated and renewable every single year. It doesn't do New Jersey Transit a lot of good for the 2 years remaining in the Murphy administration to have money come in only to have it yanked back by some future governor who, in a campaign promises, wants to, you know, win voters over by saying, I'm going to end that tax. And so there has to be regularity. And that's the number one problem that New Jersey Transit has faced over the years. There's been no regular, dependable funding source. And so they've been really, you know, eating away at its muscle in order to just keep this operations going. And that has to stop.
What kind of solutions then are there? Is it unavoidable at some point to raise fares on New Jersey Transit?
Well, we just saw that, right? New Jersey Transit announced the fare increase, and it was after many, many years of no increases. I think one of the realities of running a mass transportation system is that there has to be regular fare increases that at least match inflation and the cost of living. No one wants to hear that, but it's certainly better than not having fare increases for many years and then having a fare spike, especially at a point in time when service is not what it should be. Um, there's no mistaking the fact that a mass transit system as big, it's one of the nation's largest, requires a lot of investment. New Jersey has chronically underfunded New Jersey Transit, despite whatever great leadership New Jersey Transit has. You can't run the trains and buses without money.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about if this legislation, if the governor's proposal is, passed in the state budget. While you were saying that, hey, businesses could benefit, even though they might be the ones who shoulder it, is there not a legitimate concern about the corporate transit fee for the impact on the business climate in New Jersey?
Certainly, you could argue that property taxes is a bigger impact on the business climate in New Jersey than the corporate transit fee. You could argue that the cost of health care is a bigger impact on businesses in New Jersey. And so it's a cost that benefits. This is one thing that's really important. An anecdote is important. I had a young man worked in my legislative office in Sayreville who took New Jersey Transit from North Jersey every day, took the train to South Amboy, took the bus from South Amboy to Sayreville. And that was because New Jersey Transit offered those services. If you don't have the money, people like him can't find the job they want. And so this helps employees. This helps employers find the right people to match for the right jobs, people who don't want to invest in a car and auto insurance and tolls and gasoline, and instead want to just use mass transit. I think that it's short-sighted for the business community to say we don't want a robust mass transit system.
When the governor delivered his budget address, and this is something that you and I have talked about before on past shows, he obviously was talking a lot about New Jersey Transit. But what about not just transit, but what about our roads and bridges, that Transportation Trust Fund? Where are we with that and with other investments in keeping our roadways safe in New Jersey and maintaining those?
The current Transportation Trust Fund expires in 2024. When that bill was before the legislature and I was serving as chair of the Transportation Committee, I voted against it because the money was going to run out without a plan on how to replace it. The money was going to run out through enormous bond indebtedness. And now the state of New Jersey, with an increase in gas tax over the past 8 years, is now looking at where do we find the additional money to keep that transportation agenda going. We need to do it, right? If you've driven on any roads, if you've crossed any bridges, there's countless repairs that need to be done. And don't forget, the Transportation Trust Fund also benefits New Jersey Transit in terms of rolling stock and things that help the mass transit system. So New Jersey's facing, again, a transportation crisis. It's not unexpected. Everybody knew it was coming. Nobody's made any plans for it. And unfortunately, the history of transportation funding in New Jersey is when we, as a state, have to scramble to get it done. Usually it's not done in the best possible way.
Well, with this funding expiring at the end of this year, is this something that would be taken care of during the budget process, or is that something that would be addressed outside? Because we're under a constitutional deadline to have a balanced budget for the state of New Jersey. Can you explain how that portion of that project is managed?
Yeah, so the budget takes care of the operations of the state of New Jersey, and so passing that budget by June 30 of this year means that the Department of Transportation is going to be able to continue to pay the people that work on the roads and the engineers that inspect the roads and so on and so forth. When the Transportation Trust Fund runs out of money, and that's not necessarily at the same time or the same date, that means new construction projects can't be agreed to. So if there's a roadway that needs to be resurfaced, if there is a bridge that needs to be rebuilt or repaired, that's not going to be done because there's going to be no money allocated to set those plans into motion. And so they will operate on separate schedules. The exact date the TTF, the Transportation Trust Fund, runs out of money is certainly not carved in stone. There's some management tools and techniques they can use to extend it a short period of time. But the reality is that at some point in the next 12 months, the coffers, the larder will be bare, and New Jersey will have to find a new way of funding transportation capital projects.
There's only so much money, and like you said, the clock is ticking. John Wisniewski, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. It's always so good to see you.
Laura, good to be with you again. Thank you for the opportunity.
New Jersey's North to Shore Festival is returning for a second year with a 3-week, 3-city extravaganza. Governor Phil Murphy was on hand for the announcement.
I do think it is worth reminding ourselves of why we decided to embark on this journey. And it was a particular moment that Tammy and I were getting a readout on the South by Southwest festival that takes place every year and has for decades in Texas. And it's a cool festival, no issue with the festival. But I've got a lot of issues with the state of Texas. If you care about LGBTQIA+, if you care about our immigrant community, if you care about reproductive freedom, voting rights, gun safety, the environment, Texas is on the wrong side of history on every single one of them. And guess what? New Jersey's on the right side of history on every single one of them. So Tammy and I approached John and Eric Brophy and Tim Sullivan at the EDA and said, wait a minute, we're arguably the American state that's most on the right side of history on all those values. And we're also arguably the American state as it relates to talent and diversity. Can't we find a way to sew all that together and put a marker in the sand and start our own festival? And that is how North to Shore was born.
Venues in Asbury Park, Atlantic City, and Newark have booked hundreds of performances, events, film screenings, live podcasts, and special panels. Absolutely. And we thank you so much for watching New Jersey Politics with Laura Jones. I am Laura Jones, and we look forward to seeing you back here next time.